Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, I'm gonna do another book haul. Real quick, just want to talk about it. Yeah, I just chopped my hair off today. I guess let my midlife crisis begin. I'll be turning 40 in a couple of months. I went through a quarter life crisis when I was like 25, 26, and I chopped my hair short, started dressing like a proper adult, started going to college. I just felt like I really had to do something. Now I'm like turning 40, and so I'm just like, yeah, do I want to be that middle-aged dude that still has long hair? So I just chopped it short. We'll see if I grow it back. I probably will. But yeah, chop that short. Oh, and then today's the first day that I got to wear my Ghostface baseball jersey. I didn't get to wear it this week. I had to dress really nice at work because something really big was going on. So for the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's been slacks and dress shirts. And it usually is anyway, but like I do observe casual Fridays. I didn't get to do that this week. So today's Saturday. I got to rock my Ghostface baseball jersey. I absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. All right. With that out of the way, I do have a pretty good book haul. A lot of these are repeats, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep all of them or if I'm gonna trade some, sell some, whatever. Let's see. Let's get the middle grade ones out of the way. All right, so this one's cool. It's a vintage Apple paperback, and it's called 13 Never Changes by Budge Wilson. And go ahead and have a look at the cover. So there's a girl sitting on a chair reading a book, and you have a very old time background with ships and the ocean behind her. It's a very intriguing cover. Let's go ahead and read the tagline on the front. Mixed up, crazy, but not so bad. The synopsis on the back reads, Unlucky 13, they always say. Becoming a teenager is no easy task. Not really a child, not truly a grown up, but when Lorinda inherits her grandmother's diaries, she discovers that she is not entirely alone in the ways she feels sometimes, and that she finally has a chance to spend time with the grandmother she never knew. That sounds super interesting. That sounds like a good read. Oh man, I thought this thing was like in near mint condition, but or maybe even mint condition, but no. I opened the cover and the cover is hanging on by a thread. I mean, the cover is on the verge of being torn clean off. That's a shame. All right. Then I think this is a repeat actually. It's called Something Upstairs by Avi. No, it's not a repeat. It was I was watching a YA and middle grade horror book a lot on YouTube, and this was well, I don't know if I'm mistaken or not. I think that this was one that I'd seen on eBay in a lot, but maybe I do already have it. I'm not sure. There's something really familiar about the cover, but the author's name is Avi. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's got a really intriguing cover. There's a box of books on a hardwood floor, and there's some ghost hands coming out of the floor grabbing that box of books. And the title of the book is Something Upstairs. And there's a blurb that says, a spooky, ingenious treat for ghost story fans. Kirkus Reviews. Let's read the synopsis on the back. Something upstairs. The house is very, very old, built in 1789. In the kitchen, there's a door that opens to a narrow flight of stairs that corkscrew up to a tiny bedroom. If you're curious, you may want to find this place and sleep there some night, even if you know that strange noises may awaken you. But that's not all. In the dark of night, you'll see a white glow, almost shiny, and two hands will rise from a dark stain on the floor, followed by two arms, a head, then a neck. The human like shape, radiating a soft, pale, pulsing light, will reach out to you, beckoning, do not follow, or you may be trapped forever in the unknown horror of this haunted room. Readers will be hooked till the last tension-filled page. Okay, I mean, and that does sound good. Um, let's see. I'm trying to look at the copyright page to see what year. So it came out in 1990, but it was reprinted by Avon Camelot in 1997. So I think I have the 1997 copy, which is cool. All right. Let's see. I'm not going to show that one. I'm not going to show everything that I have. I have a lot. This was a cool find just because it's Diane Curtis Reagan. Diane Curtis Reagan did a lot of vintage Apple paperbacks, but she did like middle grade horror, and they were published by you know Apple Fiction, Scholastic, and I found one that I'd never heard of before, one that I don't already have, and it's called Monster of the Month Club. And I read the synopsis when I found it at the thrift store this afternoon, and I'm just going to tell you what it's about. It's about this girl who gets a box every month, and in the box there's a monster, and and the monsters aren't like inherently dangerous. They're kind of pets, but they are monsters, and she's gonna get a new one every month, and they're really hard to take care of, and she doesn't under and the reason why is because somebody enrolled her in the Monster of the Month Club, and she doesn't know who it was, so she's trying to find out who did it and why. And that sounds like it could be an interesting read. Actually, if you look at the cover, you see this monster that kind of looks like a dog with all these extra eyes and vampire fangs. Um, that seems pretty cool. And here's a repeat. So it's another Vintage Apple paperback by Beverly Butler, and it's called Ghost Cat. And this sounds so I already have a copy of this, but it's like in slightly better condition than this one. So if I do read it, this is going to be my reading copy. Let's see. Okay. I think I was wrong. I had another YA novel by Nancy Garden, and I thought that was the author of The Plant That Ate Dirty Socks. Because I had this book when I was a kid, and this is a little hardback. I never read it, but my mother ordered it for me from the Weekly Reader Book Club, and I had it, and so I just bought it for nostalgia, just because it was on my bookshelf throughout my childhood. I don't know if I really want to read it. That doesn't sound like it's up my alley. Maybe that's why I didn't read it when I was a kid. I think my mom thought, oh, that seems like something little boys would like. My son's a little boy. I'll just order that for him. I don't think it was ever my thing. But since she did, and since I had it on my bookshelf all throughout my childhood, it just seems like very nostalgic to own. And it's in such great condition that I couldn't pass it up. I'll probably never read this thing. And this printing is from July 1988. So it's almost as old as me. It's actually older than my younger brother. So that's interesting. All right. Okay. Let's see. I'm also not going to show that one. Oh. So I found a few more of Vintage Apple paperbacks. So this one is called Cheater Cheater by Elizabeth Levi, and there's a little girl, and it looks like she's copying her neighbor. And the tagline on the front reads, "Is it really worth it?" And so the synopsis on the back reads, "You didn't cheat, or you did cheat, didn't you? The only thing Lucy wanted to do was get the attention of the most popular boy in school. She didn't mean to hurt anyone. It was just a silly game. And now the very person she wanted to impress is telling everyone that she's a cheater. There's only one problem. The rumor is true. And man, this thing's in like mint condition. And this is from 1994. And so I read the synopsis while I was at the thrift store, and I thought to myself, that sounds so relatable because I remember when I was a child, I did some stupid things to try to impress people, and it blew up in my face. And that's why I bought it. I was like, man, this sounds like it's super relatable. But it's in mint condition, so I hope I can find a beat up copy for so I can read it sometime because I just don't have the heart to degrade the condition of these things, you know? Then I found this one. This one's pretty beat up, so this might make a good read. And it's called Into the Dream by William Slater. And it's also a vintage Apple paperback. Let's see, what year is this from? Oh, this used to belong to a public school teacher. That's why it's so beat up. This is from 1979. Wow. All right. So here's the synopsis on the back. A strange thing is happening to Francine Gill. Every night she has the same nightmare. In it, there's a mysterious glowing object, an old broken down motel, and a small boy who is in terrible danger. Standing next to her in the dream is her classmate, Paul Rhodes. A strange thing is happening to Paul Rhodes. Every night he has the same nightmare, the same one, in fact, as Francine Gill's. Every day at school, Paul and Francine stare at each other. Finally, Francine can stand it no longer. The dream has become so frightening that she and Paul must do something to stop the horror, because it is not just the small boy who is in danger. They are in terrible trouble also. So that sounds like a pretty good read. I like it. Oh, and there's kind of like a carnival or a fair in the background under a full moon. And yeah, so this seems like a good read. All right. Am I running out of middle grade yet? No. I think I got 1, 2, 3, and 4 more middle grades. All right. So this was an exciting find. Okay, Party of Five, and it's called Claudia. Too cool for school, and it's based on the TV show Party of Five. So this is a show that I always wanted to get into when I was a kid because it had Jennifer Love Hewitt, and every boy had a crush on her back then. But I think that it aired on like a Friday night or something, and my parents were usually home, and they usually got to have the TV. So that was just a show that I didn't get to watch, but I did catch it a couple of times, and I did like it, and I loved seeing Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I've thought about buying that show on DVD and binging it. I just never did. But this book is from 1997, and it's in mint condition, and it's really cool that I found it. So this is going to go on that one shelf that I have with all of my, TV books and movie novelization books. And then, in the same vein, I found a Nickelodeon Keenan and Kel book. Okay, and it's called Family and Food and Orange Soda. Okay, who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. This is really, really cool. I have a couple of other Nickelodeon books. I have 3 Secret World of Alex Max books, and I have 1 Are You Afraid of the Dark book. And this is Keenan and Kel, which was one of my favorite shows from the 90s. One of my favorite Nickelodeon shows, or Snick shows. Man, I love Keenan and Kel. So that was an exciting find. Then second to the penultimate middle grade book that I have is Bruce Coville's Book of Monsters 2. I'm not sure if I already have this one or not, but it's called, or it's Book of Monsters 2, More Tales to Give You the Creeps. And here's the book. I know that I have like one or two more of these. Oh, this used to belong to Mrs. Collins. She wrote her name on the inside. Um, oh, not all these books or not all these stories were written by Bruce Coville. I call him Bruce Coville. Um, Mary Downing Hahn wrote a short story in here, and hers is called Trouble Afoot. Ooh, Al Serentonio has a short story in here. It's called The Spook Man. Since it's Halloween season and Kelsey does her Halloween-a-thon, Al Serentonio has two books that she's done in the past. Uh, they both have like pumpkins on the cover. They look, I mean, they're horror books and they're for adults, and they seem pretty good. Yeah, that guy, he's got a short story in here. That's cool. The Spook Man. Dig it. So that's pretty cool. All right, and then one more middle grade book for you, and it's a K.R. Alexander book called Gallows Gate. So I don't already have this one, and man, that's a pretty creepy cover. Well done. I mean, that is a well done cover. Gallows Gate. So the tagline on the front reads, "Most are raised to fear the dead. A few are taught to fight them." Dig it. So here's the tagline, or here's the synopsis on the back. Sebastian White is cursed. He sees things other kids don't see, things he shouldn't see. Ghosts, monsters, they all want him dead. Sebastian's home is no longer safe, and the only place that will take him in is Gallowgate Academy, where students are taught to hunt the things that haunt them. There are some lessons, though, that the school doesn't want to teach Sebastian. Fighting the dead might be hard, but it's the living who may destroy him. Interesting. And this is from 2023. So, yeah, so I think I did pretty well with my middle grade haul this weekend. Let's see. I don't know if I showed you, but I told you guys when I did that Diane Ho video that I wanted to order another a reading copy of The Train because I didn't want to degrade the one that I have that's in mint condition. I just went ahead and ordered another one online, and it came in, and it's in like very good to almost near mint condition, which is cool because I mean I don't want my reading copy to fall apart on me while I'm trying to read it. But yeah, I guess I got a reading copy of The Train by Diane Ho now, so that's cool. Then I'm pretty sure I already have this book. It's called The Pigman by Paul Zindel, and I don't know if it's horror or if it's like thriller. But it's about this lonely old man that they call the Pigman, and like this teenage boy and teenage girl meet him, and they listen to his whole sad, zany story. And it just seemed like it could be a good read, so I picked it up. Let's see. This was really exciting. I found out in the wild, I found and I've been looking for this one for a while. It's Crazy for You by A. Bates, and it's the American version. I have two copies of the one with the British cover, and I've been wanting to find the one with the American cover, and I found it, and it's in near mint condition. So this was really cool. I was so excited. Oh man, I was so excited to find this. Yeah, that was just today, actually. So, this one is called, or it's called Crazy for You. The tagline on the front reads, "Someone's crazy about Abby. Really crazy." Um, you don't say. Look at that cover. So here's the synopsis on the back. Someone loves Abby to death. Abby didn't think she had any enemies until it became clear that someone wanted her dead. First, someone tried to run her down with a truck. Next, she got phone calls and letters threatening her life. Then, she found a storage room full of life size photos of herself. Someone is out to get Abby, and Abby is determined to find out who it is, but she can't trust anyone, not even her best friend. Who could hate her so much? And this book is from 1996. All right. So then sticking with middle grade, or not middle grade, young adult, I found another copy of Witch Hunt by Wendy Corsi Straub. I used to have this book. I think I featured it or showed it in one of my first book hauls on YouTube. And I never read it. And I know that Elizabeth Sagewood just read it recently and kind of reviewed it. I don't know if I sent it to her or if I sent it to Zach from Shadyside Library. I remember I just felt like I could give it away to somebody, and I ended up finding it in the after Elizabeth Sagewood read it. I was like, oh man, maybe I should have hung on to it. Unless I sent it to her. If I sent it to her, then cool, good for me. She read it. She talked about it on her channel. But I'm glad I found another copy. So, and it's a Z Fave, YA horror book, and I don't have a very big collection of Z Fave YA horrors, but it is good to have this one back in the collection, so I can put it with the couple that I do have. I guess this could be middle grade too, but it's a Barnes and Noble collection of short stories. It's called Bloody Mary and Other Tales for a Dark Night, and it's a hardback, and it seems pretty good. There's a section called Tall Tales for the Campfire, Tales for the Dinner or then there's a section called Tales for After Dinner. Then there's a section called Urban Legends, where Urban Legends. Then there's a section called Slumber Party Terrors, and there's like 4 or 5 stories in each section. Then there's Short Shivers for Long Car Rides. Then there's a section called Frights for the Christmas Fireside. And then a section called Halloween Horrors. And the Halloween Horrors, I'm going to try to read this month. But the stories in the Halloween Horrors section are called Tricks and Treats, Masquerade, Scarecrow, Sweets to the Sweet, and Bloody Mary. So that sounds interesting. All right. And then also for YA, I picked up this was exciting. It's an Avon Flair YA horror book, and it's called Prom Night by Jesse Osborne. And how many books called Prom Night are there? How many? I have one by Diane Ho. I swear I have another one from some other author. Isn't that the one that was just made into a Fear Street movie on Netflix? I know they had Who Killed the Homecoming Queen. Was it called Prom Night? The Fear Street one? I can't remember off the top of my head, but here's the cover, and the tagline on the front reads, "A night when anything can happen, a night never to forget." And the synopsis on the back reads, "A night of dreams and shadows. Kim and her committee have transformed an empty room into a shimmering wonderland of silver streamers and romantic fantasy for prom night. It's a night to die for, except Kim isn't ready to die. She's ready to dance, but the killer is waiting. Someone who likes to follow Kim down dark roads and phone her late at night. Someone who has killed before and is stalking the next victim in the promise of a moonlit night. That sounds pretty good. And it's from 1995. So, very exciting find. And then I found a whole bunch of Fear Street books too. So I need to go through these, and so I already have all of them, but I need to decide, are any of these, do I need to add them to my reading collection? Because I have my main collection where some of them I won't touch, but then I have a backup collection where they're in worse conditions, so those are my reading copies. So I have missing, and then if I don't need them, then I'll just lot them up and sell them or trade them or something. But then I have I found all three of the Cataluna Chronicles, which was cool. So I got the Cataluna Chronicles, the Deadly Fire, the Dark Secret, and the Evil Moon, which was awesome. So I think I actually have backup copies of these, and they're actually in worse condition. So these ones I know I'm gonna do something else with. All right, so then I found another copy of The Perfect Date, and it's almost in mint condition. It just has an unfortunate rip on the spine down here, but I think that most people can find that negligible. I think someone could add this to their collection and say, okay, this is my collector's copy. But yeah. Oh, and every time you talk about this book, you got to mention that that's R.L. Stine's son on the cover. That was him and his girlfriend. So that's very cool. Just a big fan of that fact. Then I found another copy of Sunburn. I don't know if I already have a backup copy, but since this one has, some damage to the cover and the spine, reading copy. Then I got The Hitchhiker. This one is by far and large the most beat up copy that I ever have, or that I own. So, and I still have not read this book. So now I have a reading copy, which means I should read it soon. The most common book ever, The Stepsister. Every time you go out into the wild, you will find this book. I have found this book about 500 times. And then I found another copy of The Secret Bedroom. I need to see what my backup copy looks like, because if this one is in worse condition, I'm keeping it as my reading copy. And then lastly, I have another copy of High Tide. So I already have 2 copies of High Tide. So I guess when I lot these up, I guess that one's gonna really help that lot sell, because that is a pretty sought after one. All right, so now, and the last YA book that I got for you is a bind up of The Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Forbidden Games trilogy, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they point horror books? Well, this is a bind-up printed by Simon Pulse, and on the copyright page, it doesn't say anything about, original copy printed by Point Publishing. It doesn't say anything about that. All it says is Simon and Schuster and Simon Pulse. I really could have sworn that this was originally a point horror series. But yeah, I got all three books bound up in this one. It's called The Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith, author of the Vampire Diaries and the Night World series. And book one is called The Hunter, The Chase. And book two is called The Chase. And book three is called The Kill. And I'll read you the back. Mystery, danger, seduction. When Jenny buys a game for her boyfriend Tom, she finds herself inexplicably drawn to the guy behind the counter. There is something mysteriously alluring about Julian's pale eyes and bleached blonde hair. And then he places the game into her hands. She knows their connection is something deeper. But as Jenny and her six friends begin to play the game at Tom's birthday celebration, a night of friends and fun quickly turns into a night of terror and obsessive love. Because the game isn't just a game, it's the seven friends' new reality, where Julian reigns as the Prince of the Shadows. One by one, the friends must confront their phobias to win the game. To lose the game is to lose their lives, and that is only the beginning. I mean, that sounds pretty good. And I think that was it, though, for a young adult. And then I got 4 adult books for you. I'll show you the first one because the first one is really cool, and it's called Return to the Twilight Zone, edited by Carol Serling. And it includes Rod Serling's classic tale, The Sole Survivor. And that's what the cover looks like. You know, it's pretty interesting. All right. Is that the Titanic? Is the Titanic on the back of this book? In the background? Let's read the synopsis on the back, because I didn't do that at the thrift store. I just saw Twilight Zone and grabbed it off the shelf. So let's see what this is. The universe beyond our own awaits you. Carol Serling has called upon many of today's hottest writers, including Pamela Sargent, Robert Weinberg, Barry Longier, Charles Grant, and Jack Dan, to create the kind of imagination grabbing stories with that unique twist, which are the special trademark of the Twilight Zone. Here, for your careful consideration, are 18 unforgettable new excursions into the dimension beyond our own, plus The Sole Survivor, a classic tale by Rod Serling himself. From a television set that is about to tune into the future, to a kaleidoscope that can repattern the life of anyone who looks through it, to a woman who discovers what getting back to nature really means, to a train ride, to a destiny from which there is no turning back. Here are tales which capture all the magic and mystery, the humor and horror that time and again lure us to Return to the Twilight Zone. The, oh, sorry about that. That sounds pretty cool. So let's see, what stories are there? First of all, are there any authors that I've ever heard of? Okay, I've heard of Barry Hoffman. I don't know what he's written, but I know I've heard the name. Okay, there's a story by Hugh B. Cave called Gordy's Pets, and Hugh B. Cave has written some tour horror books. So, sorry about that. Here are the stories in this book. There's an introduction by Carol Serling. Then there's a story called Survival Song. Another story called Night of the Living Bra. Then there's The Kaleidoscope. Then there's Big Roots. There's a story called The Midnight E.L. by Robert Weinberg. Maybe Tomorrow by Barry Hoffman. The Food Court by John McClay. The Garden by Barbara Delaplace. Delaplace. I don't know how to pronounce that. Gordy's Pets by Hugh B. Cave. Lady in Cream-Colored Chiffon by Elizabeth Anderson and Margaret Marone. The Praying Lady by Charles L. Fontenay, The Cure by Philip C. Jennings, Still Waters by Barry B. Longear, Messenger by Adam Troy Castro, The Duke of Demolition Goes to Hell by John Gregory Betancourt, Salt by P.D. Kasich, Always in the Dark by Charles Grant, Afternoon Ghost by Jack Dan and George Zabrowski, and The Sole Survivor by Rod Serling. That is really cool. That sounds really, really interesting. And this book is from 1994. All right, then I found two books by F. Paul Wilson, and one of them is called okay, so I did not find book number one. Apparently, it's a trilogy. Okay, book number one was called The Keep. Did not find that one. Book number two is called Reborn, and this is what the cover looks like. I mean, that's a pretty cool looking cover. I mean, it's like a very gothic style home. Really cool. Since I don't have the first one, I'm not even going to bother reading the back. But then part three is called Reprisal. And that's a pretty cool looking embossed cover as well. And so, yeah, if I can keep my eyes open, maybe I'll find The Keep someday. And then maybe I can read the trilogy. Okay, and then I got one more adult book for you. And I bought it just for the cover. I love the cover. Cool looking cover. And and title, the title of the book is super cool too. All right, it's called She Devil. I mean, very cool looking cover. And the author's name is Lois Horowitz. And oh my god, she has like cloven hoofs for feet. Do you see that? She's like this hot, like, demon chick with, like, monstrous legs and feet. Wow. All right, so the tagline on the front reads, She came from hell to a town called Happiness. And the synopsis on the back reads, She Devil, happiness is something like hell. A serene, uncharted oasis tucked in the middle of Southern California's cluttered urban sprawl seems too good to be true, but Happiness, California is just that. Or is it? Paul, Allie, and Tracy Freeman are destined to be part of the tainted tranquility of this town. They are the fresh blood the community needs to revitalize itself. But the Freemans must discover their true nature, their true name, before they can escape the diabolic violence that is brewing behind the terrifying castle walls of Happiness. How much blood must be spilled? How many lives sacrificed before Paul Freeman can face the She-Devil? I mean, that sounds interesting. It better be good, because if I read this thing just because of the way the cover looks and it turns out to be a dud, I'm going to be upset, to say the least. All right. Well, that was it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys had fun with this one. Let me know if you own any of these, and let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Horns up and peace out.